Okay, so here we go on to US 1. So Japan, they bought 2 fighters. I thought this was a pretty smart play, pretty smart buy. They did Pearl Harbor, so they cleaned Pearl Harbor out, which is, that means the sub and cruiser are going to be gone at least. So I like that. I always, of course, prefer when they don't do Pearl and I'm playing on a KJF, but in this scenario, they're low, so they're down to 4 warships, I should say, on the water right now. But it didn't do good. If you see my videos, fighters and carriers are your best purchase, generally speaking, because the fighters can carry you over to the land when you get into the defense value per IPC, all that fun stuff. So I think it was a pretty smart buy, getting 2 fighters. I don't know. My defense style, I don't tend to use the transports as much. I know a lot of people are like, get the units on, but he's going to find himself very short very quickly. So either I'm going to take him over very quickly, in which case we'll shut down the shipping lanes, but we will have to worry about the transports escaping with units and threatening U.S. or threatening Africa. Or he builds boats and planes and tries to defend, but he won't have them as long with having spent on a transport. I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. I think this is going to be a very fun game. I think this is going to be a very good one overall. Definitely, I'm going to have a very strong Pacific advantage, and he's going to have a very strong Atlantic advantage. And it's going to be interesting to see how we can overcome these between the two. Of course, in a KJF, I always default to Axis having the advantage, but we'll see. It's kind of cool. Again, I like the West Russia Jam just because it has all these saved units. Good news is he's only got 2 fighters that can reach Ukraine, so we'll have, Caucasus. We'll have this dead zoned, so we're just going to trade it this turn, stack here so that we can trade Karelia and prevent him from building units up towards the front line, because timing is more important than the IPC, I believe. Because I could move the stack over to Caucasus, of course, and then trade West Russia. But so it's a 2-point difference. So I'm giving him 2 more IPC by just continuing to trade Caucasus. But in the scenario, I think that's the better route right now versus letting him build 2 units up on the front line. So yeah. So my buy, I am going to go with the 2 destroyer, 2 sub carrier. A lot of times when I do the Caesar 37, this is when I like to drop a destroyer and put another transport, get a second transport quickly over here. In this scenario, that's not really going to be doable. I do have a partial concern of sea lion type stuff, so I like to keep 1 transport hanging around, but I think I'm going to take the other transport the old traditional way going back and get him over to US 3 and helping out. So I want to get the second transport following fairly quickly if we're going to have an aggressive KJF. So generally I like building 1 on this, but since I want to drop a destroyer, I'm leaning towards even dropping destroyer and sub over here. Just for helping, because if he just retreats with these subs back into here, and he's got the 7 planes and 2 subs threatening the sea zones, having a sub for fodder, the U.S. fodder would be helpful. But then again, that's not going to happen right away. I think I'm just going to drop the destroyer, because eventually I'm going to have to drop more U.S. fleet in order to get here, but I need to make sure I overtake Japan before I jump onto that too soon. Don't really want to take chances there. So we've already got 2 fighters over here for the carrier we're building, so we're okay there. And this will let me put him here so that if he counters taking out my destroyer, I will then have destroyer, bomber, and fighter again versus the 1 or 2 subs that he'll have surviving there. So I kind of like that. Do want to make sure we take out this cruiser. We're going to go ahead and risk the sub, I think. Because I really want to put the battleship destroyer up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, bomber can reach, can't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because I'll have 2 fighters that can reach. And then the bomber. I don't think he would take that, though. Yeah, I'm going to stick with my play. I'm going to risk my sub. Use my battleship destroyer up here. Risk them. Because I'm willing to trade unit for unit with C unit for C unit or air unit. And, yeah. If he goes up this way and he kills it, he either has to hope both fighters lose, or he has to move his whole fleet up to 63. In which case, if he has to move his whole fleet up to 63 on J2, that's going to let UK just go nutso. So I don't think that's going to be an option for him either. So we'll be safe up there. We'll be putting pressure on 6 zone 6260. So the only thing that I don't like is just the 50-50 on the sub-cruiser, but you know what? I'm going to take it. We got other subs coming. Let's see. Anything else we wanted to do battle-wise? Don't think so. We're moving them back. We're going to give that to Russia. I'm going to go ahead and bring the fighter back, make West Russia just a little bit safer in case he decides to be risky. It should be okay without the U.S. fighter, but I think I just feel more comfortable with him going back there. Let's have a cruiser miss. I'd love to have the cruiser miss. A 5 for the cruiser. Or the sub hit. How about that? Boom. Alright, 5, 5, 5. Rats. Oh well. So be it. It's not too often you see the surprise strikes actually work. At least it feels that way for me. I guess it's more often you don't get the option to, even though we did there. Yay. Destroyer living is good. Makes him have to decide what he wants to do with the subs. We'll bring him over there. Bomber over here to help cover the zones. I think we'll take the tank with us down this way. We can't go into 23 because of the bomber here. He can go 1, 2, 3 and fly right back, but we can come into Africa next turn. And he can't bring these subs down because we're going to drop the destroyer here. Other guy, though, we're going to go ahead and loop around this way. We're going to take them off the transport so that if he does decide to strike, we don't lose the infantry too, at least. I don't expect him to strike it, but... The transport's got guys there. I like putting things in the central U.S. so that we can go either way, depending on if we want to build transports at in the future. Want to get these guys back. And so that leaves us a destroyer, bomber, fighter that can protect C-Zone 10. As well as 1 and 2, technically. I do want to make sure I don't forget that guy. So the interesting thing, I don't know if I pointed this out before, but I like this move with the transports. One, because I like getting U.S. units into Africa when I do a KJF. Not absolute critical if I need them to go other ways, but I do like having them over here and then potentially living around to the islands. So, you know, this transport goes U.S. 1, U.S. 2, U.S. 3. In the Solomons and then going into the islands. If I go this way, it's US 1, US 2, US 3 into the Solomons as well. So I don't really lose any time by going this way as long as I can safely get into C-Zone 41, which normally is safe for naked transport. So we don't lose ground going that way, but it also gives us a chance to come down here to US2. And even if when I can land on Africa, which is nice, I go US1, US2 is still down here. So I'm not really losing time by landing in Brazil, even with that bomber there. And it gives me options with this transport. I probably should have done both transports this way, to be frankly honest, but I want to come this way in case I decide to push more pressure. You know, if I go US2, US3, because a lot of times I'll go US2, US3 here. So that transport will be with the group versus this one hanging out down here naked. So that's why we do bring this one here in case I am still up north on US3. All right, that's everybody, right? Yep. I do like getting a little bit of artillery after the West Russia jam, just because it feels light. I could hit Belarusia, but the strength of the West Russia jam is this defense. And even a 1-for-1 trade actually is slightly stronger for the attacker. Maybe I get lucky and get the extra 2 points. Maybe I don't. Well, we did land. You know what? We did land the U.S. fighter for... Oh, wait. No. That's why. I knew there was a reason I wasn't doing to do this. Woo! We almost goofed. We got killed the transport. I'm like, no, there's a reason I wasn't going to do Belarusia. There we go. Here we go. Good. Ooh, that's painful. Come on. There we go. Whiff. Phew. I mean, taking Corelli is important because I don't want him being able to put units on the front line. I always like doing this because I don't want to give them a free movement. So most of the time they're not going to want to risk a tank by itself. So that means at least one infantry has to go that direction. It's one less infantry coming to the front. So again, everything's so much about timings in KJFs. Even KGF, I like doing this. I don't like the infantry getting to get a free run this way and just let the tank blitz through. So I always like putting the one over there, make them take a turn that way at least. And with these guys, I got to think about that at least. What do I want to do? All right, and there we go. So, initial start. Axis is looking kind of strong there. But we're going to start wearing this number down quickly and hopefully keep this number steady for a while this is high. And then so we're looking at, if we can keep them in the 70s while we're doing around 100, we'll start closing that gap. All right, there we go. Oh, I started taking my turn and I did not where I was recording this game. So Germany's turn. They bought 7 infantry, 6 artillery. Moved to Libya. Attacked Caucasus, did not take it, so I must have got 2 hit backs. That's a big win for me there. Attacked Karelia, no losses. And the CISO-10 he did with the bomber and sub, and I got a hit back on the sub at least. So he still has 1 sub. He still has 7 planes floating in the area with the bomber there. Can hit anywhere that I can position my destroyer at. He'll be able to do sub bomber, so we're probably going to have to do another destroyer drop and see if he's willing to take just bomber at destroyer 1v1. Or we'll see when we get to US's turn. I haven't really thought US through too much yet. It'll largely depend on how Japan responds on J2, actually, to what all we got going on. I really wanted to go for DEI and have the fighter. I was going to take a artillery, infantry, hit DEI, fighter. I'm going to have, even if I sacrificed a fighter, I'm going to have C-Zone 36 dead zoned. But nonetheless, if I did that, I only had infantry here and no other airplanes because, again, that bomber. I wish I had not taken the bomber. But anyways, I didn't want him to push everything into Burma and drop some fighters there and stack Burma when I'm building fleet and I'm going to be light on ground. So this turn is really important to take Burma. We'll get my transports ready to strike these 2 guys potentially if the opportunity arises next turn, as well as be threatening Egypt. I don't think any bombers can reach down here. Here's a one. Yeah, we'll be okay there. All right. So I bought carrier, destroyer, and fighter all going into C-Zone 35 with these 2 fighters coming over, so that we'll be stacked against these guys with the 4 fighters. He'll be adding a fighter and bomber in next time, plus whatever he builds, but we're also going to be bringing our US in aggressively. So that might be that should be the last Navy build we need to do with the UK. So that is our only attack, actually. I just had a horrible battle in my other game of this exact thing. 2 infantry and a fighter, except for there was in Caucasus with their tanks sitting in Ukraine, German tanks sitting in Ukraine, and so I lost it completely. Their infantry still living. So I had to bail everything I had out of West Russia from Russia into Moscow, leaving 3 exposed fighters for Germany to kill. Very frustrating. Way ahead in the game still, so, you know, there's that, but still. We're going to do something creative here. No, not that. Golly, come on. Do I just want to move them into India as well? You know what? I think India is better. Let's just get everything into India. And my fighters. Do need to check my defense profile. Let's get off of submerges. Get to our standard. And that should dead zone 36. All right, we're continuing right along in this game, and as advertised, it's looking to be a very interesting game. He made a rather interesting move, a nice move. He did attack my battleship destroyer and successfully killed them. He lost his 2 fighters, so definitely profitable for him. But it also takes him down to 3 fighters and 1 bomber. So I'm kind of okay with it. Yes, I'm going to miss having my transport. Yes, it means we're going to do a reverse KJF. By reverse, I mean UK is going to take islands, and US is going to take mainland, and US is going to have to help support the Atlantic more and more as it is. Not my favorite way to go, but we got to get Japan losing money as fast as possible. And so thankfully with 2 transports here and some open islands here, it's pretty good. But he did a very intelligent setup here with his navy. I really like what he did with his navy here, because basically, because he took out my transport, I can't take the Solomon. So where he put his bomber, he can hit C-Zone 44 with it. He can hit 37, 47, 40. He can hit any of these C zones and land his bomber back. Except for 46. So he can't hit 46, but I don't know why I'd want to go to 46. He can hit here any of these C zones as well as 44 and land his bomber. And then these fighters can go 1, 2, 3. They can hit here. 1, 2, 3. They can hit here. So his fighters are able to cover all C zones. And this fighter, likewise, can cover all the way up to here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Land on the carrier. 1, 2. Fighters land back. So he really divided placed his fleet well. And even these naked transports grabbing guys off the islands, I could hit him, but that would mean I have to put my U.S. fleet here where both his fleets could hit, or I have to put my U.S. fleet here where, again, I've got 7 defenders. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 attackers. And with a carrier that I have to do fighters before carrier because I wouldn't own the islands. So he's actually got that dead zoned, as it turns out. As far as this fleet, if I put them in 64, 58, 59, anywhere along here where these 4 boats can't reach, but his fighter's going to be able to reach, he'll have 4, 7 units attacking versus my 7 defending. And even with fighters before carrier, because the fighters go at 2, it basically slightly favors him. It's a 50-50-ish battle. The good news is if I'm dropping a fleet here, I'll be able to re-attack whatever remnants are there and sit here and get in a trade battle, which favors allies. So sit here and get a trade battle, right? So I can give him a 50-50 there. And these guys can actually do a bit where we can stack one of the C zones. And I'm leaning toward using 1 transport to take the infantry artillery to Borneo now, and then the rest come over here to DEI with 3 fighters and 2 infantry, and then put everything else to defend, or the 4 fighters, and then just defend in here. If I do that, and I do a 2 bomber and a sub buy, I softly dead zone these guys. If he was to bring both his fleets back into 36, which is kind of my big deal. 36, dropping all his, he's got 3 transports, dropping 6 guys there. I can softly dead zone 36. Whether I would take the shot or not right now, I don't know. The downside of me going this way means when he moves all of these guys into Egypt, I won't be able to do much there. So, yeah, it's going to get interesting. Definitely going to get interesting. But since I'm going to be doing mostly UK Pacific, I'm going to go ahead and put these guys in the 50-50 zone.
Actually, slightly better than 50-50 for him. But he doesn't have a. It's not a battleship though, so that would be surviving. And I got to continue to build a little bit into the Atlantic. I don't have as dominant of a Pacific as I'd like already. A lot of times when you get that successful season on 37 and drop, you'd have a much more dominant Pacific, but he's really played it very well. So, even like I said, these naked transports, I can't do anything about them. I hate seeing naked transports get freedom, right? I could go here, right? 1, 2, 3, and attack him. I guess I could probably put a destroyer block here, right? And then move the rest in there. That might be a possibility too. Kill the transport. Kill this guy. Drop in here. But then all those ground's going to get killed. So, I don't know. We'll worry about them when they come to them. Regardless, I'm still just going to put the fleet in 59. And the reason I want to put them there is I want to put them somewhere where they can combine with this fleet. If I put them in 37, as my initial intention is. If I put them up in 64, I wouldn't be able to combine with them. But 59, we have the opportunity to potentially combine in 48. And like I said, I'll have a soft dead zone of them with my UK fleet. So yeah, it's gonna get very interesting play down here. So purchase wise, we're buying 2 destroyers, a carrier, and a fighter. I need to get protection here from 3 fighters that can reach. I do have a fighter that can land, so a loaded carrier and a destroyer, so that I can protect my second transport coming up. This transport, unfortunately, is not going to be able to go to 41, right? Because he actually, with this move, they could kill him there. So we're going to go US 2, US 3, US 4. We're planning on DEI. Retake. Originally, I still haven't fully decided on my UK turn. I keep debating back and forth a little bit on what I'm going to do there. But anyways, the U.S. transport coming 4 and then 5, either Philippines or 36 or whatever we want them to do. So anyways, that's how we're going to be bringing him. Plus, we'll have them for helping control Africa. Don't think we're actually attacking anything, though. I hate to say that. We could bomb something, right? I just don't know that bombing's the most efficient use of the bomber. It could. It does slow him down a little bit there, right? Did he build 13 this last time in Germany? He did build 13. He maxed out his build. What's he got over there? He's got 41, so he can build 13 again. We'd have to kill 3. We'd have to get at least a hit of 3. That's 50-50-ish. Is it worth the risk of losing the bomber when I need to get that bomber putting pressure? Plus, the bomber's helping my dead zoning of the Sea Lion too. So I hate to not use them, but I'm not going to use them. So I don't think I have any attacks for the U.S. anywhere on board. So he does have a lot of units chasing me here. I think I want to have them be able to trade. So I do need to double check this. So we got 24, 26, 28, 34, 36, 34, 21, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. We should be fine on defense. We should be okay there. Okay. So I want to make sure that we are still stacked there. Don't want to give them anything silly there. This may be the questionable move. I do need to double check. I think I've already moved my fighter before carrier defense profile. Yep. Definitely gonna have fighter before carrier there. Pull these guys back. Land him there. I'm gonna drop another destroyer here. What do I want to do with this one first, though? I don't think I really want to put him in range of the sub-bomber. He could choose just to take the bomber shot. Zone 2 would still be in play, and that gets me a little bit more pressure. His only safe zone would be 5, or escaping down this way, but I'm going to drop another destroyer. 14 would be safe for him, so you could tuck into the med. You could risk the bomber one-on-one. Or if he uses a sub-bomber, I'll have a destroyer following, and I have a destroyer bomber to follow it. So I kind of like that. We'll play the dice game. See if he wants to risk the bomber on a 2. Otherwise, pull his sub out. I think that's everybody. Don't really got anywhere for these guys to go. Probably should drop my guys off just in case he did a 3-guy shot on there. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. But we'll have 4 units there, so we should be okay. Could build 9 infantry, but he's gonna have an easy take of Caucasus regardless. So, I think I kind of like just building in Moscow right now and getting a few more artilleries to be able to trade back. I think we will do one here. I'm going to do the extra guy. I got burnt earlier today, and I just going to do the extra guy. All right, yeah, I think that's it on the attacks. Guess I could check to see if, with the build, if it's possible to stack Caucasus as well as West Russia. That could be interesting. I don't think that should be possible, but what if it is? I should have done that before I moved my fighter down. Okay, yeah, no, that's not stackable. So we're going to make him, he's only got 1 infantry here, so he can go 1, 1, 1. And he's got to use his bomber. There's a chance we get a hit back. Plus, he's going to want to use his bomber elsewhere. So kind of funnel him, not give him any free points there. Oop. So you can't land any Japan fighters here, only a Japan bomber. We've got a dead zone, so you could put 21 guys in there, but we've got way more than that here. So we do have this continue to be dead zoned. Again, he won't be able to build up here for a turn. We've got this dead zone too. So he has to build on the back line, which is one of the advantages of this West Russia wall. So there we go. End of the turn. Okay, here we're heading into UK3. Germany backed his sub up into there. Bought 7 infantry, 3 artillery. Attacked Caucasus empty-handed. Attacked Karelia with 3 infantry. Only 1 survived. Yay! I believe all his fighters. Yeah, his fighters and bombers lived. And then he walked into Egypt. So we did kill 2 infantry up in Karelia. That's nice. We lost 3 that we had remaining there, but that's okay. I'll take the trade. It's fine. So what stood out there to you guys? I'll give that 2 seconds. And this 7 infantry, 3 artillery. He only bought 10 units. That immediately to me went, that doesn't sound right. That's only 21, 12, 33 IPC. They had more than 33 to spend. So I go to the war report and I see they've got 55 in the bank. Even though they made 47, they have 55 in the bank. So they saved 8 IPC. So that is immediately a flag going in my head. Sea lion, sea lion, sea lion. But at the same time, I don't want to take my foot off the accelerator down here. It's going to make this very challenging. And this is, a tough game. I did look Blackadder. I don't know if he's listening to this or not, but I did see he is on the Discord, and I saw him and looked him up. And so he's a regular platinum player. He made top 10 one of the seasons a while back ago as allies. So he is a smart player. He's a good player. So I'm immediately going, okay, we got to take some risk. That's part of the name of the game. When you're playing good players, when you start playing people of equal match, you got to take some risk. And so I am going to risk a very risky sea lion bit here, because what I really want to do is buy two bombers and a sub down here. Why? Because that dead zone's 36, 48. It dead zones all of this from these 2 fleets combining. So if he combines his fleets, I'm going to have them dead zone with the UK alone, yet alone what the US can jump in here. Most importantly, though, is the C-Zone 36 dead zone. And I plan on taking DEI and Philippines. Now, I could send these fighters up this way and back off and give him room here, and they'd be able to, squelch the sea lion threat by having 4 UK fighters in here. But I don't think I'm going to. I want to keep pushing here. I want to keep shrinking Japan. If I back off, if I come back, hit Egypt and back off, that just gives him too much room, and he'll, he won't wipe. They said this is a 50-50 battle I'm giving him here. But then these guys come back, these guys come in, and it's going to be hard for the U.S. to do much on their own. I could come back, go out and then come back after that calms down. But then that's going to slow me down a lot in the island development and my quest to slow down Japan. So what can we do to minimize Sea Lion of G4 build, G5 attack on UK? Or the second part, which I haven't really thought as much, as just a G4 big Navy build followed by a G5 build and then G6 attempt there. We're going to do everything that we can. That's what I'll say. So, the bare minimum, I am going to go ahead. I was going to try and bring my U.S. planes down here to Africa with these guys to help clean up Africa, but I'm going to put them both in West Russia so that both of them are threatening C-Zone 5, and both Russian fighters are going to be threatening C-Zone 5. So he's got 2 punches of 2 airs he's got to protect any transport. So theoretically, he could go carrier, land 2 fighters on it, and hope that survives. It would be 2/3 chance I could wipe it and then wipe any transports he built underneath it. He could go. What else could he do? So he had 55, so that would take him down to 41 IPC, which is one short of what he'd really want for. What I would think he would want for the build of being able to build 6 transports. So he'd only be able to build 5 transports, and that would be putting him in a risky, 5 is 35 is 20 IPC. Again, he could do like what would that be, like maybe a cruiser and destroyer, but a cruiser destroyer versus a 2-2 is going to be even worse than the carrier and landing 2 fighters on it. So biggest is 5 transports, and say he does that, he goes for a carrier, 5 transports. So I calculate out I'm going to have like 35 IPC with UK, so I'll be able to build a tank, a fighter, and 6 infantry. I'll be able to fly those 3 fighters and that bomber over, and I'm going to put my 2 destroyers in C-Zone 2 where they can't be touched, but they could come into C-Zone 6. If he does a massive build, then on US 4, they can come into C-Zone 6, and he has to get through that. He'd have a sub and a carrier versus 2 destroyers. He may have to be comfortable with that, he may want to use a fighter, and that takes 1 fighter off of hitting the island then. As is, 5 transports with 6 fighters, a bomber, 5 infantry, 5 tanks is technically the best odds. Gets him up to like 45% odds to take UK. So he'd have to get through there. He'd have to survive with a carrier, 2 fighters. He'd have to get through my 2 destroyers, and then he'd have a 45% chance. I'm willing to take that's a lot of ands in there. So my bigger concern is, what if he just builds a carrier and a destroyer, right, this turn, and he saves up money for more transports next turn. Obviously, I'm going to be massively building land and defense here. My fighters aren't going to quite be in range to get back in 2 turns, but I'll definitely start getting fighters coming back. And this turn, as US 3 comes about, I'm going to have to build US Navy. And I think I'm going to put a loaded carrier down here. I don't even look at what US has. US has 38. So I could put a loaded carrier here where I'd have 2 fighters that could fly directly into there in 1 turn, and then bring the carrier on up to 2. And then we're starting to get some pressure in a couple turns where we'll be able to build with a 2 destroyers loaded carrier. Hopefully we can drop a UK fleet. If he builds more subs, then we continue to battle that. So yeah, that's where we stand. It's going to be interesting. This is going to get interesting. The fact that he saved the German IPC has me worried, but I just don't think I can get off of my plan. So, because if I let off here, he's already shown some pretty good intelligence here. This is going to get real challenging to continue the progress. So we're going to push hard. He's going to push hard. The good news is West Russia's dead zoned. I didn't double check, but I'm assuming he wouldn't be able to move into here on G4. That would be what, 25, 31, 32 with that possibility of 3 fighters if he flew them back out of the fleets, and a bomber. So 36 units he could put in there. We've got what, 21, 29, 37, 39, maybe 40, plus another build, 6. So probably okay there. I don't know. I'm not going to do the calculator. This is ranked. This is my playground. I'm not calculating it. I'm going to assume that I got that dead zoned. Of course, that's where I'm going to get myself in trouble. Actually, we don't need all that. I forgot I changed my plan, so we can actually do a little bit different here. I think this is what I want to do. Or do I want to go ahead and take this guy? Now I forget what I was going to do. I got talking. All right, yeah, I think I'm going to change my mind again. I'm notorious for this. So there's an oddball where he could put a destroyer here and block my Navy that's going to be sitting down here from being able to hit the Philippines. I'd still have 2 bombers and 4 fighters, so I'd still have 6 planes that could hit here. So he'd have a battleship carrier, and he could have to put this destroyer here to stop the Americans from hitting and build a destroyer. And then he could put a carrier there, and you have 2 carriers, 3 fighters, and a battleship, right? Yeah, that's right. I forgot. He's only got 3 fighters. So I would have 4 fighters of U.S., followed by 4 fighters, 2 bombers of U.K. that could hit his battleship, 2 carriers, and 3 fighters. Which gives me like a 70% chance of wiping him, so he wouldn't be able to stack there. I want to be able to, whatever he trades back, if he uses a transport to trade back, I want to be able to kill his transports for free. So I think I'm going to do that, and if he decides not to take it, that leaves me the 4-point Borneo, at least for U.S., hopefully to be able to eventually take here. So I think we are going to go that route. I am thinking about one more guy here just to make sure we take this, though. This is making me a little bit nervous. This guy, by the way, is in Quang Tung, which means he would not be able to come back here except for by using a transport. Now, he's got 3 transports. He could drop 6 guys there. We're going to have 3. We're going to pull this guy back so that we would have 3, 4, plus 6 planes, so 10 units there. So, yeah, I think we're going to go that route. U.S. is going to take care of him. We're going to give a little in Africa, give a little to get a little bit. I think that's it. Whoa. Why do we only go 1 infantry? Hey, buddy. Let's retry this here. No. Dang it. Oh, you gotta love these mechanics. There we go. Okay, we should be good there. Starting to debate myself here again. I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna scratch this idea here. Let's start back from scratch, and we're gonna redo this. The island is the most important part. Let's do this. Let's just take 2 fighters. Let's have the other 2 fighters go there with 2 infantry and save 2 infantry. There we go. That feels more correct. Well, we'll take it. Didn't matter if we sent 2 infantry or the artillery there after all. Oh, where's my second plane? Woo, I got lucky there. Oh, all that changing around. I got lucky, got lucky. All right, there we go.